She married a gay man, fled from a murderous cult, and became the most beloved woman on television, all before the world ever knew the truth. Her life wasn't just a Hollywood story. It was a quiet rebellion, lived with grace, power, and unshakable dignity. She survived scandals, war, heartbreak, and still stood tall in every spotlight she touched. This is the untold story of Angela Lansbury, and it's nothing like the roles she played. Angela Lansbury was born Angela Bridget Lansbury on October 16, 1925, in London, England. Lansbury was raised in a family with strong intellectual and political roots. Her mother, Moyna McGill, was a successful actress, and her father, Edgar Lansbury, was a prominent politician and timber merchant. Following her father's untimely death when she was just 9 years old, Angela found solace in the world of movies and theater, a passion that would go on to shape her destiny. As World War II engulfed Europe, Lansbury and her family relocated to the United States in 1940 to escape the horrors of the Blitz. Settling in New York, she studied acting at the Fegan School of Drama and later moved to Los Angeles, where her film career began. At only 17 years old, Lansbury was cast as the sly maid Nancy in the 1944 film Gaslight, earning an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actress. This role instantly established her as a formidable talent in Hollywood and marked the beginning of a prolific career in film. Throughout the 1940s and 1950s, Lansbury appeared in a variety of roles that showcased her incredible range. Despite often being typecast in roles much older than her actual age, she delivered powerful performances in films such as The Picture of Dorian Gray, 1945, which earned her a second Oscar nomination, and The Manchurian Candidate, 1962, where her chilling portrayal of a manipulative mother won her a third nomination. These early performances reflected her remarkable ability to disappear into characters, adding depth and nuance even to supporting roles. Angela Lansbury's talents were not confined to the silver screen. She achieved legendary status on Broadway with her Tony Award-winning performances in musicals such as Mame, 1966, Gypsy, 1974, Sweeney Todd, 1979, and Blithe Spirit, 2009. Her voice, stage presence, and dynamic range made her one of the most beloved and respected musical theater performers of all time. Each stage performance demonstrated her commitment to her craft, her impeccable comedic timing, and her ability to convey deep emotion through song and dialogue. Perhaps her most enduring role in popular culture was as Jessica Fletcher, the crime-solving mystery writer in the long-running television series Murder, She Wrote, 1984 to 1996. Over the course of 12 seasons and 264 episodes, Lansbury captivated audiences around the globe with her wit, intelligence, and charm. The show became a staple of Sunday night television, and her portrayal of Fletcher, clever, independent, and compassionate, served as a refreshing and empowering figure for viewers of all ages. Lansbury received 12 consecutive Emmy nominations for the role, a testament to her consistency and popularity. Though she never won the award, a fact many fans and critics still lament. In addition to her work on television and stage, Lansbury lent her voice to animated films that delighted new generations of fans. Most notably, she voiced the kindly Mrs. Potts in Disney's Beauty and the Beast, 1991, performing the title song with gentle warmth and elegance. Her performance added heart and soul to the animated classic and cemented her legacy with younger audiences. She also appeared in other family-friendly projects like Anastasia, 1997, and Nanny McPhee, 2005, continuing to show her versatility and enduring appeal. Angela Lansbury's contributions to the arts did not go unrecognized. She was the recipient of numerous prestigious awards and honors throughout her lifetime, including 6 Tony Awards, an Honorary Academy Award in 2013, 5 Golden Globes, and a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Screen Actors Guild. In 2014, she was made a Dame Commander of the Order of the British Empire by Queen Elizabeth II for her services to drama, charitable work, and philanthropy. This honor reflected not only her extraordinary achievements as an entertainer, but also her stature as a beloved cultural ambassador of both the United Kingdom and the United States. On September 27, 1945, a young Angela Lansbury, only 19 years old at the time, eloped with actor Richard Cromwell, a man 16 years her senior. Their decision to marry was a private one, culminating in a small civil ceremony away from the glitz and scrutiny of Hollywood. Angela was madly in love, young, hopeful, and idealistic. Despite the age gap and the fast-paced nature of show business, she truly believed in their bond. Sadly, the union was short-lived. Just a year later, in 1946, their marriage ended in divorce. However, the end of their romantic relationship did not mark the end of their connection. Remarkably, Angela and Richard remained on friendly terms for the rest of his life until his death in 1960 from liver cancer. Their friendship endured despite the abrupt and emotionally painful way their marriage had ended, a testament to Lansbury's emotional maturity and capacity for forgiveness. Now let's delve into what really happened. Lansbury later revealed that Cromwell abandoned her suddenly, without any prior indication of his intentions. He left her a heartbreaking note that simply read, "Sorry, I can't go on." No conversation, no confrontation, just a note and a void. She was left stunned and emotionally devastated. The abruptness of the separation naturally raised questions. At the time, Cromwell made a single public remark about their failed marriage. He told the press, "All over the house, teapots. In the middle of the night, she'd get up and start drinking tea. It nearly drove me crazy." The statement struck many as strange and evasive. Could a fondness for tea possibly be the reason to abandon a marriage without warning? Understandably, many, including Angela herself, didn't buy that excuse. It seemed like a deflection, a cover for something deeper. Lansbury, in interviews later in life, acknowledged that she eventually uncovered the truth about Cromwell's sexuality. After much emotional introspection and investigative reflection, she realized that Richard Cromwell had been gay, and that this, rather than her tea drinking, was the likely reason he left the marriage. He had been living in a time when being openly gay in Hollywood was professionally and socially dangerous. Many gay actors entered heterosexual marriages to protect their public image, often at great emotional cost to themselves and their spouses. Angela spoke candidly about this revelation during an interview with Terry Gross on NPR's Fresh Air. She explained, "I had known so many gay people in Hollywood. It just had never really sunk in. I was in love with one, and it was a shock, but it wasn't a shock. Because I was so in love with Richard Cromwell when I married him, that I was just, I'd never had any kind of experience. I had nothing to draw on to know. I had had no experience sexually." She was vulnerable and completely honest. As a sheltered young woman, she simply didn't understand the complexities of identity, sexuality, or emotional compatibility. Importantly, Lansbury insisted she never blamed Richard Cromwell for what happened. Their marriage may have ended in confusion and heartbreak, but she bore no ill will toward him. She later said, "When it turned out that he was gay, I never blamed him for it in any way. And I realized that I had just made an excruciating error, an emotional error. But I don't regret it, because I learned so much during the short time that we were together." Her words reflect wisdom, compassion, and an ability to grow from pain without harboring resentment. Lansbury also explained how her mother, Moyna McGill, herself an actress who had experienced the ebbs and flows of Hollywood, frequently hosted lavish industry parties. These gatherings included many members of the gay community, many of whom lived closeted lives due to the stigma of the time. Angela recalled how her mother deeply respected their privacy, refusing to out anyone without their permission. This created a home environment of inclusion and discretion. As Angela put it, her mother was very much a part of the old Hollywood gay scene, and she taught Angela to respect people's identities and secrets. Over time, Angela Lansbury herself became recognized as a gay icon, not only for her roles, but for her acceptance and allyship in an era when such support was rare in Hollywood. She also expressed her continued surprise at how many actors of her time were secretly gay, and how expertly they hid it due to the severe professional consequences they might face if discovered. This perhaps explains how she was so easily swept into a romance with someone who, in hindsight, was struggling with identity in a culture that demanded secrecy. She wasn't alone. Many other starlets during that era found themselves in similar situations, marrying men who were unable to be open about their sexuality. Some of these women, Angela included, walked into marriages full of hope, only to find themselves bewildered and heartbroken. But unlike many, Angela chose compassion over bitterness. And while the first chapter of her romantic life ended in heartbreak, it was not the end of her love story. Angela eventually found true and lasting love when she met actor and producer Peter Shaw. They were married in 1949, and their union proved to be a source of strength and stability for 54 years, lasting until Peter's death in 2003. Angela often spoke about the deep affection and partnership they shared. It was with Peter that she raised her family and built a home rooted in love and understanding. Through his previous marriage, Angela became the stepmother to his son, David Shaw, and together Angela and Peter had 2 children of their own, Anthony Peter Shaw and Deirdre Angela Shaw. Angela was the first to admit that balancing her career with motherhood was no easy feat. She worked extensively and often had to leave her children behind in California when she took acting jobs elsewhere. Despite this, she was deeply devoted to her family. She instilled in her children a strong ethical and spiritual foundation, even if they weren't raised in a religious household. She once said, "We have to put our faith and trust in that. I believe that God is within all of us, that we are perfect, precious things." These values reflected her personal philosophy, grounded in kindness, faith, and resilience. Yet life would test Angela's strength as a mother. In the 1960s, while living in Los Angeles, both of her teenage children began struggling with substance abuse, which Lansbury spoke about with courage and transparency. Most disturbingly, her daughter Deirdre fell in with the dangerous and infamous cult led by Charles Manson. Angela admitted, "It pains me to say it, but at one stage, Deirdre was in with a crowd led by Charles Manson." Deirdre, like many teens of that turbulent era, was seduced by the charismatic and twisted influence of Manson. Angela, terrified for her children's futures, made a decisive and life-saving move. Together with Peter Shaw, she relocated the entire family to County Cork, Ireland, a quiet rural region far from the chaos and dangers of Los Angeles. Angela bought a home there and refused acting jobs for over a year so she could be fully present and stabilize her family. The move worked. She later reflected, "I have no doubt we would have lost one or both of our 2 children if they hadn't been removed to a completely different place." Life in Ireland offered peace, simplicity, and healing. Her children eventually recovered and went on to lead healthy lives. Angela Lansbury's life was rich with complexity: romantic heartbreak, enduring love, family struggles, and triumphs. Through it all, she remained a figure of grace, strength, and resilience, always candid about her past and deeply compassionate in how she spoke of others, even those who had hurt her. Her journey shows us that mistakes can be forgiven, love can be found again, and the greatest roles we play are often not on the stage, but in the quiet perseverance of everyday life. In her earlier years, Angela Lansbury struggled with a habit that was common among many in the entertainment industry of her era: chain smoking. Like many actors who came of age in the mid-20th century, Lansbury began smoking at a young age, perhaps as a result of the cultural glamour often associated with cigarettes in film and theater circles. Smoking was not only socially acceptable, but also encouraged in certain professional environments. For Lansbury, whose career was blossoming in Hollywood and on the stage, cigarettes may have served both as a personal comfort and a tool to manage the stress and long hours that came with her demanding work schedule. However, by the mid-1960s, Lansbury made the conscious decision to quit smoking. Her decision likely reflected growing awareness about the health risks associated with tobacco use, as well as a desire to preserve her vocal strength and overall well-being, particularly as she matured into more diverse and physically demanding roles. Her ability to quit smoking after years of dependence speaks to her remarkable discipline and enduring commitment to her health and career longevity. In addition to her efforts to maintain good health, Lansbury was also mindful of the physical changes that come with aging, especially as someone constantly in the public eye. In 1976, at the age of 51, she opted to undergo cosmetic surgery on her neck, a procedure intended to tighten the skin and prevent the broadening or sagging that often occurs with age. This decision was not driven by vanity alone, but rather by professional necessity. In an industry where appearance often plays a critical role in determining the kinds of roles an actor can secure. The procedure was considered relatively minor but effective, and it helped Lansbury maintain a youthful and vibrant appearance during a crucial period of her career. Over a decade later, in 1987, she underwent a second neck procedure, once again addressing age-related changes with the same pragmatic approach she applied to her health and career. These decisions were emblematic of Lansbury's proactive attitude. She was neither obsessed with her looks nor indifferent to them, but instead took thoughtful, measured steps to age gracefully while staying competitive in a visually focused industry. As Lansbury entered her 70s, the physical toll of a long life in performance, especially on stage, where roles often demanded movement, dancing, and standing for extended periods, began to manifest more noticeably. During the 1990s, she started experiencing the effects of arthritis, a common yet debilitating condition that causes pain and stiffness in the joints. Though she rarely discussed her struggles with arthritis publicly, Lansbury continued to perform, often adapting to her physical limitations with quiet dignity and resilience. Her perseverance was particularly evident in her continued stage work during this period, demonstrating that even as her body faced challenges, her spirit and talent remained as sharp as ever. In May 1994, Lansbury took another step to improve her mobility and quality of life by undergoing hip replacement surgery. This procedure, often performed on elderly individuals suffering from severe arthritis or joint degeneration, involves replacing the damaged hip joint with a prosthetic implant. For Lansbury, the surgery allowed her to regain a degree of flexibility and independence, enabling her to continue working and participating in public life. Despite the seriousness of the procedure, she made a strong recovery and soon returned to the stage and screen, a testament to her resilience and commitment to her craft. Over a decade later, in 2005, Lansbury underwent another major orthopedic surgery, this time a knee replacement. Like her earlier hip surgery, this procedure was crucial in addressing the wear and tear caused by decades of activity, including dancing and stage movement. The recovery from knee replacement surgery can be lengthy and difficult, particularly for someone in their late 70s. But Lansbury once again defied expectations, emerging from the experience with characteristic determination and grace. Angela Lansbury's life came to a peaceful close on October 11, 2022, in Los Angeles, California. She was 96 years old. Her death marked the end of a remarkable life and career that had spanned nearly 8 decades and touched the hearts of millions across generations. Lansbury's longevity, both personal and professional, was due in part to her self-discipline, foresight, and unyielding strength of character. Even in the face of physical ailments and the inevitable challenges of aging, she maintained her dignity, her passion for storytelling, and her deep love for the performing arts. Her passing was mourned by fans, fellow actors, and admirers around the world, all of whom recognized the indelible mark she left on stage, screen, and the hearts of those who grew up watching her captivating performances. She gave us drama, mystery, elegance, and a lifetime of quiet strength. Angela Lansbury didn't just play iconic roles, she lived an extraordinary life filled with love, heartbreak, survival, and grace. She stood by those the world cast aside. She walked away from fame to save her family, and she never let the spotlight define her worth. Her journey reminds us the most powerful stories aren't always on the screen. Sometimes they live in silence, in sacrifice, in the resilience of a woman who refused to break. If this story moved you, honor her legacy with us. Like, comment, and subscribe to LGBTQ+ Vibes, where the untold stories of Hollywood finally get the voice they deserve.